So I wanted to bring my very good friend Derrick on the platform today because I think he has a lot to say when it comes down to relationships. And besides that, he loves social media and he loves doing these lives. And I think he was the best person to ask to be a part of this session. So I just wanted to share very quickly about what the event is going to be. It's an online webinar that's going to be happening via Zoom. There is a registration. You have to reserve your spot on Eventbrite. So even if you click on the invite or the flyer on the Facebook page, you should be going directly to the Eventbrite page at relationshipchats.batpllc.com. There's a fee there. And so what I don't want to have happen is that people do say they express interest on Facebook and you're not aware that there is also something that's going to be, there's a fee that you have to pay on Eventbrite. So what's the Relationship Roundtable going to be about? You know, for a while, I kind of contemplated whether this was something that I wanted to do because reason being, Mayor Derrick, is that there is just so much platforms out there that's focused on relationships, right? And so I was like, I don't want to add to all of what's going on out there because so many people are talking. Everybody is an expert. Everybody is a relationship guru. And I was like, I didn't want to pitch myself in that space. But the flip side to it, sir, is that I thought, why not? Because in my capacity as a therapist, the bulk of what I'm doing is actually helping people work through relationship issues. So whether it's relationship within the context of their marriage, whether it's relationship within the context of work, whether it's relationship with their children, whether it's my singles who are just sick and tired of relationships not working out for them. And I'm like, you know what? I think I don't claim myself to be a guru or an expert of any kind, but I have some level of expertise. And so for those of us who have the knowledge and the wisdom, I think we need to let our voice be weighing in as well, because if not, then, you know, everybody else and their crazy stuff is going to be coming up, sharing or spewing content that is not useful at all. And so I felt really in my heart that I wanted to bring a lot of what I've been discussing in the therapy room, a lot of the breakthroughs that I've been helping my clients experience, bringing some of that information to the forefront and helping the people, the masses out there who are struggling, who have probably given up on relationships because they keep messing up in their minds, to help them identify that there is a strategy to this thing. There is a strategy. And I've always maintained that, you know what? You plan for everything else. You plan for your business. You're a businessman. You plan for your career. You plan for your education. Why is it that we're not as dogmatic and intentional about planning for the relationships that we're in, whether it's the intimate relationships, business relationships, relationships on the job, etc., etc. Come on in the room, everybody. I'm seeing you. So I said, let me have a forum on this thing and then invite people who are struggling with any number of issues that's relationship centered to come and be a part of it. And so today, that's what we want to spend some time giving a preview of what's going to be happening. So my very special guest who has been so patient with me, the Honorable Mayor Derrick. Before he was mayor, I knew him as Derrick, but I'm gonna give kudos to who kudos is due. He is a very, very good friend of mine. He is the mayor of the town of Dumfries in Virginia. He is the owner of how you pronounce that, sir? My BBQ man, my barbecue man, the best barbecue in town. Okay, and you're a food business coach. I just discovered that when I went on your page just now. So I want to say welcome, sir. Thank you for being a part of this process. Thank you for helping me kick things off. Thank you for being so patient.
You know, the superpower as a mayor and a barbecue guy is it all takes relationships and knowledge. You know, two things: you need knowledge and you need relationship building to be successful in business and in politics. So
absolutely,
this is an essential part to success, right? Because your success is in the common unity of the relationship, the community of the relationship. So I'm excited to have this conversation. Thank you for what you do as a licensed therapist. Thank you for what you do in your profession, because we know that in my profession as a politician, as a mayor, that there's a shortage of license, especially in the current climate that we just went through with the COVID-19 and people being isolated, and for the first time, people were not able to be in relationships with others. They were separated from it. And so this type of work now is needed. Yep, we need knowledge and relationship.
So we need knowledge. Absolutely, absolutely. We welcome your comments. I see my cousin Sean watching. Quite a few people are on. Thank you so much. So let's just jump right into it, Derrick. So again, I talk about this idea that there's a plethora of platforms out there where people are talking about relationships. Why do you think it's necessary to have an informative and solid roundtable conversation on relationships?
Yeah, I think where purpose is a known, abuse is inevitable, right? And so when you frame it around the idea of purpose, right? And to be able to give people information to help them be successful, right? Relationships aren't built on emotions and feeling. Relationships are built on information and how you build that information. And so without the information, your feelings, they come and go, they change over time. It's based on how you choose to feel. Because ultimately, you can choose your feelings. You can choose your emotion of happiness, or you can choose your emotion aside based on how you think. And so you putting a framework, and everybody's going to have a different perspective, right? But it's how you get that information to people, and to be able to give people a perspective in which they may have never seen before, right? So people may not conform to their current ideology or ideas of relationships, but you give them maybe a deeper foundation on what it means to relate and to all be in the ship, and if we're all rowing in the same direction on this ship.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Have you observed, as I've been sharing about this idea, that there are tons of platforms out there where people are talking about relationships? And if you have, what is it that stands out to you that makes you say it is necessary to have those platforms where people are really having the real conversations?
Well, people identify with different people, and people relate to different people, right? And so it's just like going into a restaurant. There are different options on the menu. These different platforms, yes, they do exist, and everybody is speaking about different things and different topics, and people are going to be attracted to somebody who they can relate to, or they're looking for somebody they can model how they relate to people after, right? And so it could be a model for their relationship, or it could be just information on how they don't want their relationship to be, right? And so you got shows on relationships with food, your relationship with health, your relationship to spouse, right? And so it's just about what people are looking for, because people can only find what they're looking for out of it, right? And to be able to give them some information that they can draw application to, I think that will really set what you do apart from the round table. But yes, I have seen shows, and yes, I do think it's necessary for more shows. It's like there's already soap operas on TV. Why make another soap opera? Because people are interested in soap operas. There was already a movie about Superman. Why make another movie about Superman? Because people are interested. It's one of those topics where even if you go back to the beginning, even Moses wrote about it in the first 5 books that he wrote, the books of law, right? He said when God had Adam out there working his job, because Adam had a job before he had somebody to relate to, and he looked at him as he was working his job. Now, Adam was busy. He didn't even know that he needed to be in a relationship. He was naming the animals and the trees and everything. And God was like, man, you're so good. It's not good for you to be alone, right? And so that loneliness became a dis-ease for him. And he said, even in your singleness, even in your wholeness, I need you to be able to relate to somebody.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good. That's good right there. Somebody got it. I hope y'all caught what I just said. He said, even in your wholeness, even in your singleness, because single means to be whole, I have to give somebody for you to relate to. And so you to be able to bring a perspective on relationships that people understand that it is, it's not your singleness that's a dis-ease, it's your loneliness, your inability to relate to other people.
Absolutely. And that's you're 100% on it, because the truth is I remember someone said to me that love is blind, right? And I said, we kind of explored that idea. And I said, is it really that love is blind, or is it how we're positioning ourselves in love that's creating the conflict or creating the challenge?
Well, here's the key. In communication, love can mean different things to different people based on their pretext.
Yeah.
Because if their pretext is different from your pretext, then your context will always be a misconception.
Absolutely.
So
I'm saying you have to be dropping gems. You know, I'm going to bring you on more often, sir.
I'm just, you know, this is one of my gifts is what I'm doing right now. This is one of my gifts. And so when you think about it, love is an action word. Love is what love does, right? And so your actions dictate your love. So for God so loved the world, what was his action? He come on now. You teaching better now. See, it was an action. It wasn't how he felt, because in spite, like, see, you gotta think about it. Oh, you got me into it, so I'm gonna say it. You know, love. The only nature that love has to do something, right? The fact that we were created, we were the object of the Creator's love.
Yeah.
He needed to pour his love out into somebody. And so when you think about how he leaves the 99 to chase us down, it's because of his love.
Yeah.
Some said he fights till I'm found and he leaves the 99. I didn't earn it. I don't deserve it. But still, he gives himself away.
Yeah.
So
do you think then, Mayor Derrick, that maybe one of the challenges that we're having when it comes on to relationship and building relationships is that we don't really understand the concept of relationship or the concept of love as fully as we need to. And so we're showing up in these spaces and we're having difficulties in them because we're missing something. Yeah. We're perhaps missing some understanding or missing some knowledge.
Yeah. And all you're getting and understanding, right? You only know it in the context of the environment in which you grew up, right? You only know it in the context of which has been demonstrated to you, right? And so most people aren't taught the fundamental definitions of what it means or who it is and what it is, right? Yeah. They don't know that the purest form of agape is it never fails. It's not puffed up. It's not rude. Yeah. It doesn't seek its own, right? Yeah. It's never tuned into its own radio station, WIIFM, what's in it for me. But like I said, see, the opposite of love is the get. It's lust, right? GET, like, what do I need to get? The conversation is only about me, myself, and I, but the conversation of love, in essence, and when you begin to teach that and people begin to understand it, nobody has to say I love you or their actions.
Yeah,
their actions will demonstrate it.
Right? Absolutely.
There's none of this, but what do your actions show? And so it's a different concept.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you bring these ideas together in an informative way, it begins to reshape. The songwriter said, what the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Yeah.
Right. And once you really start to get that, because you think about it, most of the mass shootings, most of the stuff that we see right now is the world. That song is still relevant today. Right. And if we can begin to teach this concept and bring it back into, you know, the young people, and we start saying, you know, he's got the whole world in his hand. We bring back some of these concepts, because really when we're teaching that type of stuff, we're really teaching love. We're teaching the object. We're teaching, because remember, we know love as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I know, for example, in the therapy room, lots of challenges that people are encountering are cycles. For example, you know, find themselves, it's a different phase, same story, right? Or just these constant patterns that they find themselves falling into. Even people will say to me from time to time, like, I know in the back of my mind what I want, but then when I get into this space or the opportunity presents itself to get into a relationship, all of that just goes through the window, right? Or some people will say, I saw the red flags, but then I just I wanted a relationship, so I just decided, well, I'm gonna hope for the best that things are gonna work out, which most of the time, 9 times out of 10, that never really ever happens. So what is it then you think people need to be thinking about or considering in those kinds of settings? If you find yourself going through the same thing over and over and over again, it's almost like a cycle that you're locked into and you can't escape it. Why do you think somebody needs to come to this round table to have a conversation? Because it is going to be conversational. Just as though we're talking, I'm not going to be lecturing. I might talk a little bit, but I do want people to be able to say, look, Georgia, this is the stuff that's going on and I'm locked in this thing and I don't want to be here, but I'm here.
Yeah. The question is, how can two walk together if they don't agree? All right. And so there has to be agreement. Like a team, in a relationship, you have to become a team. A team is a group of people working together towards a common goal. Keyword, the goal has to be common. Like we need to agree on what the goal. If we have a mission and we're both submitting to the mission, then what is the mission? Without a vision and a direction on what the team is trying to accomplish, right? So we have to talk about, like, if you're on a sports team, we have a pre-game meeting before it's time to get out and play. And so this relationship roundtable is the pre-team meeting. It's us talking about what are the strategies we're going to go out so we can have some type of agreement, so we can walk together on this path together. Because, we go together, but where are we going?
Yeah.
So here is the direction that we're going.
You said some very powerful things, and I really appreciate that. I heard the word goal.
Yeah.
I heard the word vision. Yeah. I heard the word plan. Yeah. And so, again, this idea of we get into these spaces and we don't have a game plan. And I think that
you got to agree.
We don't agree. We don't have agreement because we never had a vision of where we wanted to go with this relationship. And so we just end up in these, we didn't have a vision, first of all, for ourselves as individuals, right? About where we see ourselves going with someone. And then when somebody does come along, there's no agreement because we never had a vision. And then 9 times out of 10, we're probably connecting with people who themselves don't have a vision.
So you think about it. I remember hearing a guy define the word boyfriend and girlfriend. And he said a boy is a young, immature male who lacks judgment. A girl is a young, immature female who lacks judgment. A friend is someone who holds personal regard and affection for someone. So a boyfriend, girlfriend was two young, immature people who lacked affection and attention for one another, going where? Going nowhere because of immaturity.
Oof.
So we got to transform those boys to men like they care. Transform those girls to women like they care.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what this relationship roundtable is about, right? It's about you getting information so that you can no longer conform to the patterns of what the world is programming.
Yeah.
But you can be transformed to win, right? To be a part of a winning relationship, to be a part of a championship team, to go out and get your trophy and to win. I'm just trying to tell you.
So the last thing I wanted to comment on, Mayor Derrick, again, I don't want to hold you for too long because I know you're a very, very busy man. How do you think attendees should prepare themselves for this kind of roundtable? It's going to be a different kind of conversation, obviously. If you were not busy and you were going to be present, and perhaps I'm going to pull on you to be present, sir. Just flag your calendar for that. But what is it that they should come in expecting? Again, I've specifically been looking for people who have been struggling in this part of their lives. There may be people who are coming on who are good, and I'm happy for the good people coming on because maybe you could get to share some tips for those who are struggling. But for those people who will be presenting themselves, maybe divorcees or people who are separated or people who are single or people who are in situations or complications, all of those things, what is it that they should come in considering? This is probably some of the takeaway that I actually want to receive from this roundtable.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first thing, they need to come with a level of expectation that they're going to get some information that they never heard before, right? Come with an because whatever you expect, whatever you look for, you actually find.
Yeah.
Right? And so I need you to come expecting to find something that you've been looking for all your life, how to relate well with people and how to win in your relationships. I want you to come with a certain level of expectation that I'm coming with an open mind, because everything that I know up to this point has gotten me into relationships and the situations I'm in. So I need you to come expecting that there's some information I'm going to get at this workshop, at this session, that's going to be different than I ever heard before. I need you to come with a certain expectation that what you're going to get is going to transform you to walk in agreement with some people so that you can be a part of a winning team. I want you to come expecting to get everything it is that you want. And that's to have relationships that are effective, relationships going to help you get further, right? And relationships that's going to walk in agreement with your vision or your mission, or for you to submit to somebody else's vision, or you to submit to somebody else's mission and be able to walk agree. So when you come with that type of expectation, knowing that your mind only works like a parachute, and parachutes only work when they open. I don't know any parachutes that work when they close, but you better come with an open mind and come with a certain level of expectation. And whatever you expect,
that's what you
trust me, you will receive. Because we can't convince you, right? Because if you convince a man against his will, he's of the same will still, right? So I need you to come with a certain level of expecting, and will knock, and you will find. Seek, and you'll find it. Knock, and the door be open. So that's what I hope they understand what I want them to expect when they come and receive it.
And thank you so much for that, Derrick, because again, it's setting a different kind of tone, and that's what I'm looking to do in this relationship roundtable. Again, there's a plethora of platforms that are out there, and as you say, people are drawn to what it is that they're looking for. I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for those people who they're at the end of the road, right? They're saying, this isn't working anymore. Maybe I'm not even built.
Although we've come to the end. Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. Looking for those people who, and I hear it, and I hear young people. It's so weird. Like my young women in therapy will say, maybe I'm just not cut out for relationships. And I'm like, come on, man, you're just 29, 30 years old. Are you kidding me? You have the rest of your life ahead of you. But because of the level of frustration, because of the lack of understanding, because of the miseducation and misinformation, and lots of things happening in social media, lots of things presented in media. When I ask people the question, what informs your understanding or your idea of relationships or marriage? And people will tell me flat out, movies and social media. And what am I going to say? I can't argue with it, because that's the reality of what a lot of people are facing. Lots of people grew up in homes where relationship wasn't modeled. They probably had both parents living in the home, but the relationship between the parents were off or non-existent, or they grew up with one parent, and so they never really saw healthy role models for relationships, so they have to get it from somewhere. And so we don't want people to keep getting their relationship dogma from stuff that's not beneficial. It's locking you in cycles, causing you to get involved in trauma bondings, a whole host of things that's leaving you frustrated, that's leaving you angry, that's leaving you anxious, that's leaving you depressed. We want to help you get through that. We want to help you get out of that space by providing with information and knowledge that is going to help you, because you can't go beyond what you know. You cannot go beyond what you know. Any last minute statement for us, sir?
Let me say something based on what you said. The enemy of your vision is your sight. Let me say that. The enemy of your vision is your sight. It's your lying eyes. Your eyes tell you that you can go no further, but your vision can take you much further than your sight. Helen Keller, she was blind, deaf, and they call her dumb, but she was very smart to me. She said, what's worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. If you can live not in the memory banks of what you know, because all you know is in your memories, but I want you to live in the imagination of what it is you hope for.
Yes.
Your imagination will take you much further than your memory. So don't make a permanent decision on how you see relationships based on your memory.
Yes.
I want you to live out and imagine, I don't care what it is, right? Because without a vision, you'll go no further.
Yes.
And so the vision is your images. And once your images get in action, vision is so powerful because you can imagine something and eventually your vision becomes your now. In your memory is all the stuff you see on social media, doing like this, scrolling with your thumb. In your memory is all the stuff you see on the movies and the TVs and stuff like that. But in your imagination, that's the real you. Your destiny, it's not ahead of you, but it's trapped on the inside of you. It's in your mind. It's whatever your wildest dreams are. I want you to dream again. You showing up to this thing is going to take you back to that childlike when you dreamed of that dream wedding, when you dreamed of the cars you wanted to drive. And remember when you used to drive by those cars and you say, that's my car, that's my car, no, that's my house, no, that's mine. This is going to put you back in the mental state where you live in the imaginations and the hopes of your mind, and you release everything that you know, because what you know ain't all there is to know. Before there was a beginning, there was something that you didn't know that you should know again.
Yes.
I'm done.
Thank you so much, Mayor Woods, for just laying the table out clearly for us.
They probably didn't know the mayor talked this spicy. Yeah.
For laying stuff out for us. Definitely looking forward to those people who are going to be joining me for this relationship roundtable. Again, it's new, it's information. We're looking to bring you, not just information, I know, because information is one thing. Knowledge is the game changer. So I'm looking to bring knowledge that if you tap into that content, it's going to help you shift the current circumstances that you're faced with, right? Something isn't working. When the divorce rate is almost 54% for first marriages, when the second marriage, it's 67%, or when it's 72% for third marriages. If you think it gets better, the more you get married, think again. There is something that we're just not doing right.
We have to create a set of affirmations for these people. Hearing those type of stats, every problem has a solution.
Yeah.
Everything is seasonal.
Yeah.
Stop making permanent decisions for these temporary problems.
Bring you on, sir, for the next relationship roundtable.
Outlast the season that you.
The next relationship roundtable will be focused on marriages, and I want you to be a part of that process for sure.
It comes from wisdom. I got a little bit of wisdom. I've been doing this for a couple years.
Yes. Just a couple. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for those who took the chance to tune in. Those who are going to be coming on for the replay, just comment at the bottom. Let us know that you watched this. Hopefully, based on the conversation the mayor and I had today about the relationship roundtable, again coming up on May 11th, 2023, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, kicking things off on time.
Oh, that's a Thursday. That may work for me because on that Friday I got to do a keynote for leadership class. So that may work.
You think you might be able to pop in, sir?
I may. Let me just make sure I don't have a transportation meeting.
Okay. All right. So go to Relationship Chats. That's RelationshipChats.BATPLLC.com. Again, I've been advertising it on social media, but you have to click the link that is going to take you directly to Eventbrite, where you're able to reserve your spot. 45 slots. I'm keeping it small. In my mind, 45 is small because I want it to be a round table where I'm not lecturing at you. I'll be sharing content that's valuable, but I want us to be able to have conversations because people out there need help with regard to their relationships. And I want to, in my capacity, I'm not coming as your therapist, no, because I ain't your personal therapist, but there's content and knowledge that I've gathered in my time as a therapist and as a life coach that I really believe could be beneficial for those people who are looking to really make relationships work for them, get out of the cycle, get out of connecting to people who are just as traumatized as you are. You're just connecting because it feels good, but then you know there's nothing behind it. Get out of not paying attention to those red flags. Get out of dating the same kind of girl, the same kind of guy, just a different face. Get out of the cycle. You don't have to be in that space. You do an excellent job of pursuing your career, of having a vision, as the mayor said, for everything else. You gotta have a vision for relationships, because again, without vision, nothing works.
So this isn't for everybody. She says she only got 45 slots available, right? So it's not for everybody, right? It's only for those people who got the mindset to want to learn how to put themselves in a better. It's for the mindset of the people who want to really invest in themselves, right? So there is an investment, right? Because like when you pay attention. Yeah. Right? And so we don't want nobody coming in the room who don't want to pay attention, who not willing to invest in themselves. I need somebody who wants to put something in the ground and they expect a tenfold return on that seed. So it's not for everybody. We're asking you to make a small investment in yourself. Remember, an investment in knowledge always pays a greater dividend, right? Because once you learn, you can't unlearn.
Yeah, absolutely. Simple $49.99, and I like the way you put it, sir. It's not payment; it's $49.99. Wow. Investing $49.99 in yourself for an hour and a half to just talk about something.
Y'all pay more than that to go get y'all nails. That's you investing in your nails. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, I ain't gonna tell you. Somebody told me it was a prom hairdo for some braids that was supposed to cost $700 and almost.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
So you pay more than that. So I'm telling you, you're just like you invest in your nails, just like you invest in that daily coffee. That's a week of giving up coffee. Yeah. Make that investment in information that could change your situation. Absolutely. Information on us, execution on you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. I really, really appreciate you. We need to get together another time. All right, everybody. And thank you for those who tuned in. Again, go to relationshipchats.batpllc.com. You could go to my page. I have, every now and again, I bring the flyer up and I put the link on Facebook, the link on LinkedIn, the link in Instagram, where you're able to click on it. It should bring you directly to Eventbrite. Invest $49.99 to get some knowledge that is going to help you change the game, so that you don't find yourself continually going in cycles and in circles when it comes on to relationship building.